I know that some CEOs have like their secret formula and their way of thinking, understanding what were his previous actions could make us frame the answer on a different perspective, so he understand our points.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Calvert. Today I'm going to be playing the interviewer. I'm a former BCG consultant out of the Chicago office, and I'm now a senior director at Insight, a climate technology startup. Alvaro?
Hi, Mati. How are you? I'm Alvaro Bardalez. I'm a former strategy consultant from Accenture and currently working as a associate director of corporate strategy at Walmart Mexico. Uh, Hello, everyone.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the introduction. Today we're going to be doing an interviewer-led case, and so I'm going to be prompting Alvaro a bit throughout the case, more of in a McKinsey style. You ready to jump in?
Let's go.
Awesome. Starbucks, the international renowned coffee chain, which does 36 billion in annual sales, is facing a concerning trend of slowing same-store sales globally over the first half of 2024. With consumers pushing back against higher prices for casual food and beverages, Starbucks needs a strategic plan to address declining sales and ensure sustained growth. What should the company take to overcome these challenges?
Perfect. Just a couple of clarifying questions before going in how to build this strategic plan. Mm, do we have any specific metric on what is the same-store sales that Starbucks needs to achieve? Is it just same-store sale or any metric related to revenue, profit, market share?
Good question. So the primary objective is to increase the same store sales, which is really key for Starbucks to ensure that they're sustaining their growth over time. The company is also focused on market share in key markets, for example, China, and they do want to maintain their overall profitability.
Perfect. Just taking note here. And since you said that the sales drop is globally, do we have any flavor on which region probably is the most hit?
Yeah, so China has been particularly hard hit. They've experienced a 14% year over year drop in same store sales compared to a 3% drop globally. In
Okay.
China, they've dealt with weakened consumer spending as well as stiff competition from local coffee chains such as Luckin Coffee.
Okay, perfect. I think that I have all the information. Just give me a couple of minutes to do a framework and we can see how we build this strategic plan.
Sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Just let me walk through the framework that I built and looking forward to see your reaction on it.
Okay.
So the key question is, I understand that there are many metrics here related, but as you said, the key metric is same-store sales. So how do we make Starbucks grow at a previous or a healthy rate in same-store sales globally is the key question to solve. I laid out a framework, like three-leg framework, in which first we see market trends, the second one is customer perception, and the last one is internal related to what are the initiatives that Starbucks have been doing like in the short term. When we see market, I imagine performers per channel, performers per region. You already gave me a flavor that China is performing bad, so we can start the focus there. And also the competitive landscape. When I say customer perception, is basically if we have any feedback besides the pricing that you mentioned initially, is there is something that has changed on Starbucks? And when I'm talking internally, obviously revenue per business model per region to see what are the lower and the best performers of Starbucks and start digging there to see if we have any related information on how they're performing.
Okay. Great.
Perfect.
So the CEO of Starbucks is convinced that the drop in same store sales is the result of internal issues, such as
Okay,
pricing, operations, and marketing. Specifically, he thinks recent operational improvements to increase efficiency in stores will turn around the trend that they've been facing. However, the partner on the case thinks that the cause is more likely to be external, market conditions, competitors, those types of things. What investigations would you do to determine whether the drop is a result of internal or external factors? And how might the solution set differ if we were to clearly determine that the issue is internal or external?
perfect. Just let me build quickly a framework to see how we can assess if this drop is driven internally or externally.
Okay.
Okay, cool. When I see internal analysis that we can build, uh, I would definitely see what are the sales trend versus initiatives, and those initiatives can be price changes. I understand that this could be see on a regional level because I mean we cannot go deep into local changes, but I would say like price changes would be the first one since we have the feedback from customers that price have rise up. The second one is marketing and promotions. Also see what are the revenue trends based on these changes and assess if there was a significant impact on these marketing promotions. And the last one is understanding a little bit more what is the customer feedback. I imagine that the prices is one thing, but there can be different based on how we or based on the regions. So probably in China there are different trends compared to the United States. And when we see this externally, definitely benchmark is something that we can do versus other companies, public companies. I mean, in order to see if this is something that in the overall market is changing, is switching, or just Starbucks. And also we could see if there are other competitors that are succeeding here that can give us an insight that probably some trend is switching towards different consumer habits.
Do you have a hypothesis if it's internal versus external?
My hypothesis would be that given that we have this information on I mean, we can see like in two step. Like the first one is going deep into the prices. I
Mhm.
think that this is something because if we receive feedback from customers, we can go and analyze the price changes versus the revenue. I think that this would be my first hypothesis. But I do have a second hypothesis that can be external because all of the inflation changes. Uh, and probably Starbucks is not the only one that has been rising prices, probably other competitors too. So I imagine that this could be something that is more impacting the whole market.
Yeah, those are good points. So part of the case, we've looked into internal versus external causes, and our team has pulled the following data. What are the implications here for Starbucks?
Okay,
Can you see my screen? Okay?
I can see your screen. Perfect. Let me understand the graphic first. Uh, External. Okay, so we are comparing here same-store sales for McDonald's and for Starbucks. I do see that the graphics, the axes are different. So for McDonald's, it starts in 2020, and for Starbucks, it starts in 2022. So my first impression here is obviously that COVID impacted McDonald's significantly, and
Mhm.
then it rise the same-store sales and it stayed at a 10% to 5% level, but it has been dropping since 2023 Q3 until 2023 Q2. So there is a declining trend for McDonald's, at least in the last year. And for Starbucks, we have this declining trend since Q1 2023, and they have negative same-store sales for the whole. 2024. So just comparing and making this benchmark of these two companies that play in the restaurant hospitality field, I would say
Hmm.
that, and given that these are big companies, I would say that definitely there is a market trend here that is impacting at least this part of the industry.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to add here?
Uh, Something that is interesting, at least to me, is that Starbucks, I mean, the impact on Starbucks is higher. So you can see that McDonald's had positive same-store sales growth
Yeah.
for most of the time, yet Starbucks had a steep decline in Q1 2024.
Hmm.
So given that the overall market is being impacted by this market trend, I can say that Starbucks, at least compared when I do the venture with McDonald's, receive a steeper hit.
Yeah. Why do you think that is for a place like McDonald's versus a place like Starbucks?
My guess is that given the customers that they serve, I imagine that Starbucks is positioned more in working class people, or I mean like white collar people, white collar positions. They do have more. They do have more changes here, and they do
Mhm.
have more preference that they can do, and also for McDonald's, I think that this is more people that go on a daily basis, and probably is what I mean here, I'm McDonald's people that goes to McDonald's, and this is cheap food, and they do go on a daily basis because this is their lunch, these are their daily meal. On the Starbucks, this
Yeah,
is something that is more like ancillary expenditure, and people can cut it easily.
absolutely. It's a lot easier to make a cup of coffee at home than it is to make a Big Mac at home.
Definitely, definitely. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And one's a lot more filling than the other. Okay, great.
yes,
I
yes.
think we can move on here. So, as part of our investigation, the team is digging deeper into Starbucks' performance in China, where the drop in same store sales has been pronounced. What are the implications of the trends in this region?
Okay, let me see what we are comparing here. So this is the stores and sales in China. This is the overall revenue for China. This is not same-store sales. And this is quarterly store count. Okay, the green line. My first impression here is since 2019 to 2024, when you see the green line, is basically Starbucks had a huge expansion plan in China. They basically doubled their stores in 5 years. When I see the sales that is related to it, basically it is the same. I mean, this is 3,000 billion. No, this is $3 billion in sales. No, I see now. I'm looking at the right axis. So this went from $0.7 billion in sales in 2019, and now is basically the same in $210 million. So basically, you double your footprint in China, and
Mhm.
sales stayed flat. You can see that the just to compare the same store sales growth here, you basically halve the same store sales, considering or making a proxy of numbers of stores in 5 years, while you double your footprint.
Yeah.
My guess here is just bringing hypotheses. Uh, I understand that China is a different market. Probably there is a lot of competition. Probably Starbucks brand did not resonate in China as management thought that it could. Also, there could be some changes in post-COVID because I see that at the beginning of 2019, there was an upward trend in sales.
Hmm.
Also, post-COVID, there was an upward trend if you see 2021 overall, but something has changed. I do know that China has been struggling with economic implications, and they have been struggling with growing economically overall in the past 2 years. So my guess is also that since Starbucks, and we already agreed that this is more something that you can cut off your budget, and if people are being struggling economically, probably Starbucks have been receiving this impact negatively. And this is just to bring some hypothesis here.
Yeah, great points. Okay. Well, the CEO of Starbucks, the person ultimately paying for your firm's services, is adamant that the company should focus on in-store efficiency and new marketing is the solution to the issue. Your team strongly believes that this is incorrect. What do you think you should do?
So there is, just to clarify the question, there is this conflict between what the CEO thinks and what we have been concluding. We have been concluding that this is more of an external factor and the CEO thinks and this is internal. So how would I approach him in order to understand what are his thoughts on this and also how we can make him understand what are our points and to find some common ground there. This is the question.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Just let me give me a couple of minutes so I can just quickly do a quick framework here on how to answer the CEO concern. Cool. So my approach would be first thing is he has something in mind, so understand why and what are his thoughts. Probably understanding more what were his points at the meeting or the exco meeting where we presented the findings. Understanding people who know very well the CEO, what are the conversations that he had.
Hmm.
So having this common ground in order to see what other analysis we could perform would be a good starting point. Second is understanding what were his past experiences. I know that probably some CEOs have like their secret formula and their way of thinking, and probably understanding what were his previous actions could make us and do different analysis and also frame the answer on a different perspective so he understand our points is something that we can do. And last but not least, something that I previously mentioned is when we have these conversations with people who influence him in order to understand his points, we can pitch them also what are our conclusions and see their reactions and probably build a different perspective so we can deliver the CEO our conclusions. Because I understand that our point is strong. We have seen that the market has been impacted not just in the US but also in China. But obviously, we need to have in consideration what these operational changes that he thinks that Starbucks can do at least to offset this negative growth that we saw in 2024.
It's excellent. Well, Alvaro, thank you so much for helping solve this case. We really appreciate it.
It was amazing time, Mari, and thank you as well.
Hey everyone, it's Kenton Koveski here, the founder of Rocketblocks. Thank you so much for watching this mock interview video. I hope you found it informative and helpful as you are getting ready to prepare for your own interviews and hopefully landing that job offer you are excited about. We have a ton of great content on the Rocketblocks channel coming out on a weekly basis, mock interviews, mini lessons, and chats with our Rocketblocks experts. So if you haven't subscribed yet already, please do so. There is a big red button below. And if you hit that, you'll get all of our content as soon as it comes out. Thanks for watching and have a great day.